All right. And that was Mares de Lagrimas by Papayas con Chile. And you are tuned into KTAL LP 101.5 FM in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
And online at lccommunityradio.org.
Nice. Yeah, you're tuned into the Lab Radio Hour. That was all of our local music for today. Tony, are we going to transition into our interview, or how did you?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so again, that was from Valley Sessions, a Valley Sessions recording. And again, Papayas con Chile. That's a friend of the show, Selena Corral.
Yes.
And so we do have Austin and Luis. Maybe if you could introduce yourselves, kind of your identity, where you come from, and your role at Valley Sessions, if you want to start, Austin.
Sure. Yeah. So Valley Sessions, I think, is a creative project bringing a lot of people together under the sort of helm of Ryan Robson, and I think a lot of us are kind of connected to him in some way to get brought into this. I'm an old friend of his. We actually used to work together at KRUX, the radio station, so it's kind of fun to be back talking about him here. And now I do a little bit of copywriting for Valley Sessions, and just some of the promotional material type stuff for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Luis Lascano. I was raised in Juarez, although I lived half my other life here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Loving it. I am the sound engineer of Valley Sessions, one of them. There's going to be multiple ones that we work with, such as Nick Brower, Saint Chaffee, and Cyrus Baker. Great helpers that they all have a different level of competence in different things. They're incredible. And it's good to work with them because we all get to learn from each other and grow together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And for those at home, can you kind of tell us what Valley Sessions is and kind of what you guys are trying to do with Valley Sessions?
I think Ryan, who is kind of the creator behind a lot of this, really loves a lot of live session media for musicians, things like Audio Tree, stuff like that. You'll see your KCRW kind of putting on their little sessions, or the Tiny Desk concerts that NPR does.
Right.
And I think he's always wanted to try and capture that vibe. And Valley Sessions is not, just like a live performance. It is, several takes it's put together, but it's trying to get that feeling of intimacy in a concert, to get the thing that you don't really see on the album, to try and get those moments in a session that come out that like show you just a little bit more of the artist than you see in other places. The things that happen at the show that, the audience kind of knows and gets to see and has that special moment of connection with an artist. Ryan's really interested in trying to find that and communicate that through filmmaking. And so Valley Sessions, I think, is inspired by all those things, but it doesn't fit perfectly in line with them. It is in many ways, to my feeling, it's a pretty unique project. And in the sort of line it kind of treads between something that's very, very, very designed, but trying to cultivate authenticity and vulnerability from the artist.
That sounds awesome.
I would say that there's, to add on to that, there's a few more things that I feel Valley Sessions is helping with, just this general idea here. I feel like we are helping to also grow our community. And the fact that we're focusing on only one song, I think is really important, because we're trying to grab that special moment of that one song, not just an entire session. That's also important, but just having that one song, how much does that song mean to you? How much did that mean to the writer, to the songwriter who made it in that moment? And it's just a connection, a beautiful connection we have at that moment.
Yeah, the specificity of just like that, those little things that happen, really, really zooming in. I think that is important. Yeah.
And again, we do have Andres here, co-facilitating. So we have some questions from Andres, and it's been a while since he's been here. When was the last time you were here, Andres?
Oh, let's see. The last time I was probably here was, probably more than 4 years ago.
Wow, welcome back.
Thank you. So it's definitely been a while. But it's always such an exciting experience for me to be here, to get to engage with these sort of things. So thank you guys for being here. It's such an awesome opportunity. Also wanted to ask you guys a question. So you guys kind of touched on it, and but can you kind of describe how did Valley Sessions come about, and what is the main purpose of the project?
I think that Ryan has wanted to do stuff like this. Of course, Ryan's leading it. He's bringing a lot of people together. So there's a lot of stories in explaining to how people come here. I know like Luis has a cool story about how he got involved. But I think Ryan has wanted to do this type of project for a while, and I think that it comes in a lot of ways out of like wanting to do like a love letter to Las Cruces, wanting to create a very generous space where people are coming together, giving their time, where, people are giving their expertise, where people can kind of come and learn how to do things that are, it's hard to get kind of on the job training for, and to point the camera at people who don't always get a ton of attention, and spaces that don't always get a ton of attention in Las Cruces. So, there's a real kind of community and generosity, I think, that simultaneously inspires the project and makes it possible, because you can't do it with without all of these people coming and giving their time, and you can't do it without like having a rich kind of community to explore. But I know Luis has like a cool way that he got brought in.
Sure. So for me, I did not participate in the very first one that was between Nick Brower and Zane Shafi that did the first one with Artist Snow. The second one that we recorded, not released, but recorded, it was Nick Brower, which was the first sound engineer. And whenever you are trying to do things at once, when it comes to this level of performance, where you want to bring the best out of yourself when you're performing your song and recording at the same time, yeah, you're asking for trouble. So I'm really thankful that he trusted me. He was like, hey, Luis, so you want to help me out with this one? We had already worked on sound for a bit. And yeah, he trusted me, and I did my best. And I was also going through a really hard time. So to be honest, just being able to participate on this, something I love, music, recording, good friends, good people around, it helped me a lot. It got me through a rough patch. And ever since then, I've been a part of Valley Sessions in every recording. So, yeah.
That's incredible. Definitely sounds like it's a lot of work to put all these different components together, the filming, the location, the setup, finding the artist. But I guess with that being said, how can you, or can you tell us the process of finding those locations that you guys film in, and to also finding the artists? What is that process like?
There's some interesting stories that I think go along with this. I mean, a lot of it is the people in Valley Sessions suggesting artists. It's Ryan on the hunt for artists. It's people sometimes reaching out to him. So there's a lot of ways for that to happen. And in finding locations too, it's really interesting. There was a Valley Sessions with Anibal a little while ago, and you guys shot that at Apodaca in the pool there. And Ryan was telling us how like before they did that, there like wasn't a process that existed in the city for like getting permission to like go use that type of space. They had to create a document, create a form to make that type of thing possible. So, I don't think it can be overstated just how much of this relies on individuals in Valley Sessions like Ryan and like some of the other people he has working on locations to go out and speak with the community, to create these processes for filmmakers to find that stuff. And then the same type of thing with getting the artists, right?
Yeah. So the thing for the artists is it's a combination. It's a team effort where it comes to who do we know around here that we can help participate on this. But the most important thing that it comes down to is the song, to be honest. So ultimately, we're open to find any artist we can locally or around the area and make this as special as we can for Cruces, its location, some of the artists. And we do go outside of our way a little bit, but we're mostly focused on Cruces right now. Now, I want to come back to the pool story, because we actually had 2 people from the city come out and like kind of ask us like, hey, what's going on here? You guys, what are you guys doing over here? And the thing is, like, they thought we were trying to like party or something. Like they called their whoever the supervisor is, and they were just on the phone like, hey, so we have these guys who are doing this, and we had nothing like equipment wise, party looking wise at all. It's all like a bunch of little speakers and cables, cameras. I don't know what kind of party they thought we were going to. Very boring one.
Doesn't that just go to show, like, you know, like it's not a thing that people had done. It's not a thing that had sort of existed. And so, like, in a lot of ways, Valley Sessions is kind of like blazing a trail into like certain collaborations. Yeah. And there's always like going to be interesting speed bumps like that where people are like, this hasn't happened before. What's going on? You know, you're shaking things up.
You guys are pioneers and trendsetters. Yeah. They had to make rules just for you.
And actually, that brings me to, I believe this, we have an unreleased song from Eris Snow. Did you guys record this song called Eyelash by Eyelash?
Yeah, that was beautiful. It was like an airplane hangar looking place. It's going to be amazing when we release it, and it's a beautiful song. So I hope y'all enjoy.
We'll get to hear it right now.
No, right now. Okay, I was gonna. Can I ask some questions too?
Let's remind our listeners that they are tuned in to KTALLP 101.5 FM in Las Cruces, New Mexico,
and online at lccommunityradio.org. You are tuned in to the Lab Radio Hour. Wait, so did you
go ahead?
Okay. So since we have you guys, and I just thought of these cool questions for the both of you. So Austin, you go. It's a question for each of you, technically. Since you both have different roles in the Valley Sessions, could you just dive a little deeper into what each of your roles entails? Like you had mentioned, like Austin mentioned copywriting. Luis, you mentioned sound, but we can. I'll start with Austin, and then we can like pick Luis's, and just like little details just for our listeners who may not have many or any film experience.
Luis definitely has the more exciting thing to talk about. Mine's really quick, but you know, just after the product is basically finished or in an early draft stage, Ryan and I work together to write just some copy that's going to be like a little blurb beneath the video, and we get to talk about it and like try and pull out like the key elements that we think should go in trying to talk about it. So what I like about my part, what's the real privilege of my part, is I get to be one of the first audience members to see it. And I get to be one of the first like little interpreters of it that's outside the formal creation process of it. So I have a very enviable position, I think, and not one that goes into doing all the really cool work. I just get a front row seat to it. But Luis is in it. He's in the session.
That's still pretty cool getting to see the finished work before everybody else. You're all like, oh, this is what everybody gets to see. Yeah, Luis, so you're doing sound, and for our listeners out there are many different components to being a sound. So what part are you, like the main sound engineer? Are you the boom guy? Are you post? Could you explain a little bit of detail about that for our listeners today?
Of course. So my main focus is actually on the recording session itself. So I get my pants dirty, basically.
Nice. That's good. No, yeah, that's the most important part, right? You're getting that ambient noise and all that important stuff.
Yeah. And many of these times when we're doing the live sound / recording session, I usually have one more person to help me out with, which is usually either Nick Brower, Sarah Baker as of late. Yeah. But in the past couple ones also we had Zane participate.
Nice. Yes.
Now the ones who do the most of the mixing and mastering, that will be Nick Brower. But most recently, Sarah Baker has joined us to help with some mixing as well as recording.
Nice. No, that's pretty cool.
Exciting times. And
that is exciting.
I'm learning from both of them too. Like I said before, we have different areas that I feel we're better at because we're more used to doing and working on those areas. But we help each other out to like grow on these areas.
Yeah,
it's really great.
It's a new project, so you guys get to like experiment with like, hey, we'll try something different this time, and like just help each other out as like things come up, right?
It's definitely challenging. That's one thing I'll say about the video people. Y'all are finding some locations, and you know what? I still love it.
Yeah, so, they do.
Very troublesome acoustics usually, but I feel like it's still special to manage that as much as possible and just compromise together to make the best that we can, audio-wise and video-wise. Most recently, we actually had finally a treated, we were in a church, we had a treated room
Nice.
And I think this one might have the best sound quality only because it's a treated room.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You have some good acoustics finally. That's good.
Yeah.
Have you guys had any like locations that have been, because you brought it up like, oh, film people know how to pick them. Have you had any locations that have been like troublesome in the sense that it's like, oh, it's a great location, but it's like all of our equipment, we have to like carry it there. And the steps might not be like the easiest.
definitely the Old City Council with Stony Bluefish,
okay.
the one that looks like there's jail cells. We have a drum set in a tiny space where the acoustics bounce everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Nick mixing that one.
I feel that.
But you guys did it right. Like in a lot of ways, I hear that was like kind of like a litmus test. Like, if you can do that one, each session after that, you're like, well, we did the other one. This one's possible.
We did the scary one, so that means these other ones, it's fine.
Exactly. It helps a lot to know that.
All right. So we wanted to ask more questions, but get to know you guys. And so the question I wanted to ask you guys is, what sort of education did you guys receive, and how has it helped you? And maybe in what ways do you believe it could have been better? Because here at the lab, we focus on heavily on education. And so I know you do a lot of the work in the community with speaking to individuals, but from your own experience, that's the question.
Well, I would say that we run into a lot of challenges where we always come back and think, oh, this could have been better because of if we did this instead or have that instead. But at the same time, right now, like, we don't own every single audio device in the world, right? This is like, in a way, like, a lot of it's around money that we poured into our own equipment. So for us audio guys, we bring what we can. We try to make workarounds. Yeah, honestly, we had like more like money to like buy more equipment. A lot of things could change, but for now we work with what we got, and I think we're doing the best that we can with that. Personally, for when it came to learning all of this stuff, when I was around 25, I had a music project / studio that I worked with in El Paso. It started off with just being a band project, and then this one of the audio guys from there ended up liking the band, and he ended up becoming our bass player. That was great. And I learned a lot from working on that studio and just being around the studio. We used to go to El Paso every weekend. This happened maybe in the span of 1 to 2 years. And that's where I learned a lot of the beginning part of it. And from there, I just love music, and I kept working on my own music. And along the way, I kept researching, learning, and eventually connections happened. And I am doing this. It's just a lot of self-educating, a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that rings true with what the conversations I have with some of the other people involved. Like I know Ryan Robson's a graduate of NMSU and the CMI, the Creative Media Institute, and so a lot of that comes from that. There's a lot of CMI graduates helping out right now too.
Sure.
That are a part of Valley Sessions, important parts of Valley Sessions. But when I talk to these people, I don't want to speak for them, but when I hear from them, is that like it is like a lot of the projects that they get involved in, where they're like learning stuff, where they're like actually like, sharpening their skills and taking a lot out of it. So, formal education is one thing, but being involved in your community, showing up to these things, like that's where that's like the real talent of a lot of these people, that they're able to flex out from there.
Nice. And real quick, you are tuned in, for our listeners just joining us, you are tuned in to KTAL LP 101.5 FM in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and live online at lccommunityradio.org. You are tuned into the Lab Radio Hour, and right now we are speaking with some members of the Valley Sessions that have recently been a thing here in Las Cruces, and it's a lot of fun. Andres, is there any other questions that you have? Sorry, I just need to do this tag real fast.
Really quickly, do you guys have any specific suggestions for those individuals who are listening? And please feel free to address any variety of audiences that you believe may be listening with us. Any suggestions for their creative endeavors or life?
I learn a lot from Ryan in terms of like how much you can get done by leading with generosity, by like trying to make spaces for other people to be successful, and giving other people power in a situation, that's how these huge things get done. Like, Luis was talking about, Nick brought you in because he trusted you, right? And that takes it's a lot of, it's really like special when you can kind of give up power in that way, and you can say like, I trust you to help do this. So people that maybe are getting frustrated or feeling like they're not able to get their creative projects off, I think you can do a lot by like looking at the community around you, trying to share power or give up power or give up like invite people into the space. But having a vision matters too. There's a lot that goes into it, and working with people that you see doing stuff that's interesting, to being vulnerable and asking if you can take part in something. That's a very tough thing to do. And I really admire this project for being a space where people have been able to be comfortable asking, can I be a part of this? And for them being able to say, yeah, like we'll find a role for you. We'll find something for you to do. I think that's so cool when I hear stories about you guys, bringing in new people.
And that's really important what you guys were touching on with community and kind of building that community. I as someone who has lived in Las Cruces like my whole life, I feel like that's something that cannot be taught just in school. That's something that you have to like build upon, and doing projects like these and getting involved is like a big way to do it. How do people get involved? Because I know I went to one of the raps recently, and there was like a Q&A portion, and someone had kind of a question about how people can get involved, because there's like people there, right? They're like, hey, sign me up, I'll go help,
Tony, before they answer, can you tell our listeners what the rap is?
Oh, so the rap is how can I explain this? But it's for like different filmmakers and
would you like me to explain?
Yes.
Okay. So for our listeners out there, the rap is a monthly showcase of local films and artists or video creators. So like people who have made like shorts or commercials or things such as the Valley Sessions. Like it's a place to showcase that, rather than being like, oh, it's on YouTube, or I go to a film festival. It's just like, oh, you submit by a certain date, and then you show up on the Wednesday, and they show your piece, and then they'll have you come up and ask questions. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to see who all the local creatives are, and
and you might be able to see some of
and sometimes you get to put
stuff.
Yeah, you can see lab stuff, or you get to put together cool interviews like this one, because we find cool people. It's great.
Yes. So that's a really good way to, again, be part of the community by, Q&As and stuff like that, like you don't have, like, when do you get to do that? Right. And so do you guys have any advice, especially for youth, on how to start getting involved with just media?
I mean, sometimes it's just like an Instagram DM, right? I don't think you can overstate like how hard that first step is to kind of like reach out to a creator that you like, or a project that you like A Valley Sessions on Instagram. Is that the handle?
Yeah, so it's A Valley Sessions. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can also DM us for whatever you need. You can also submit your songs. I believe we may even have a link for that, for whoever wants to try that out. Also, we have a Patreon in case anyone wants to support us. You can either do it monthly or by donating, and it really helps us a lot. But at the end of the day, we're not doing this for money. We're here because of the people, the community, the amazing team that we have, and the songwriters that we want to help portray to this world.
Yeah. So I think, being able to find one of those platforms to ask someone, like you can do that with Valley Sessions, you can do that with other creators that you see. But that's very hard, right? That's very hard to kind of like be vulnerable and say, I like what you do. I would like to work with you. Or, I don't know as much about how to do this stuff yet. Projects like what you guys have going on here with community radio. There's a lot of creative people here. There's a lot of people doing a lot of really exciting things that are also involved in community radio. So, listeners can, apply here, or they can apply at KRUX. They can, getting involved in that stuff. Like creative people tend to flock together. And if you feel like you're not in one of those communities yet, look for one of those communities, I think.
Yeah, just go for it. I think that's kind of where we're getting at. And I think we were having a conversation during one of the songs about kind of getting involved and getting into media, and you guys, I know that's probably something that, was that something you guys always had in mind? Was like going into media?
Not quite. So I'm first a musician. I, for most of my life, has played guitar, and well, since I was 15. And they just happened to be something that helped me understand that I can be a part of something bigger than myself, where I can help others grow. And it's cool that I get to do my own thing here and there, but it's just nice to be part of our growing community, and I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And is there anything you guys want to add before we go? Maybe where can people follow you at?
Sure. They can follow us on Instagram to a Valley Session. And we also have a link tree on there, I believe, that you can click on the about, and you can there go from submitting songs. We also have we actually have the songs on other websites as well that you can see on the link tree. So check them out.
And I think it should be said, especially if you don't have a clear idea of Valley Sessions, that these are videos. These are really well put together videos, and the catalog for that, the gallery experience for that, is on the Valley Sessions YouTube, right? And it kind of hangs out there as a go ahead.
Please, that's actually our most important source right there, because there are videos and music. Check them out on YouTube. A Valley Session on YouTube, and we appreciate everyone listening.
And anyone else? I want to thank Ryan for setting this up.
Yes, thank you, Ryan.
I've been able to have conversations with him and meet up with him in these different events, and it's been great. I know that there's a lot of people that work on these, so I'll also shout out to them.
Yes, Austin and Luis, thank you so much for coming out and being interviewed with us. Andres, thank you for your words out as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
So we'll just pull up like one more song, and then that'll be the radio show. But this has been a lot of fun, very insightful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you for tuning in to KTAL LP 101.5 FM Las Cruces, New Mexico. This hour has been brought to you by the Lab Learning Action Buffet in collaboration with Doniana Community College. The Lab is a creative space where youth design their futures. Please tune in next time, and feel free to contact us at lablearningactionbuffet@gmail.com if you have music, poetry, short stories, or spoken word you'd like to share with our listeners. Thanks.